Welcome back, everyone. In this video, I'm making embroidered freestanding lace Christmas ornaments. I recently purchased a pack of Christmas ornament designs from Embroidery Library, and while I'm not a paid promoter of their designs, I continue to go back because they have really good stuff. When I first got my embroidery machine a few years back, I originally thought I'd just be putting a bunch of different designs on fabric, but the truth is there's a whole world of possibilities of what you can do with an embroidery machine. Now let's take a look at the supplies I'm using today. This is a large roll of wash-away embroidery stabilizer from New Bro Thread that I got on Amazon. This is actually my second roll because I've gone through a whole entire roll and it worked great. I've got a big box of multicolored Christmas ornaments that are plastic, which I also got from Amazon. I've got a hot glue gun and glue sticks, which I got at Harbor Freight of all places. I'm thinking I may need this to glue the embroidery designs in place over the ornaments. I've got some different colored ribbon, which I believe I got at Walmart but came out of my stash, and I'm thinking I will replace the hangers on these ornaments because what's on here now is not very pretty. I've got some sections of old paper towel rolls. I'm not sure if I will need these, but I was thinking these would be holders while hot glue dries if I end up using that. Finally, I've got a sampler pack of 63 colors of embroidery thread from New Bro Thread, which also came from Amazon, and I'll be pulling these for some different colors for these ornaments. I've also got several spools of leftover metallic embroidery thread, which is Sulky brand. These were from another project. I was thinking these would make really pretty embroidered ornaments, but the metallic thread is notoriously difficult to work with, so we'll try it out and see how it goes. And don't forget to check out my Amazon affiliate links found in the video description, where you can order some of the supplies seen in this video so I can earn a small commission at no extra cost to you. Thank you! The designs I'm making today are called freestanding lace, sometimes abbreviated FSL, and the basic idea is that you embroider directly on water-soluble stabilizer, and then you dissolve the stabilizer so you have a freestanding design in thread. There's no real science to cutting out the stabilizer. I just kind of eyeball it and cut off a piece that looks like it's big enough to fill my hoop, and I want to make sure that I get it nice and taut in the hoop. I think for my first few ornaments, we'll do green and red, so very traditional, using this green thread that came out of my sampler pack. Something about doing freestanding lace embroidery that's a little bit different from other embroidery designs is that normally you want to wind your bobbin in the same color as the top thread because most of the designs are reversible. Something I love about my Bernina is that the bobbins are giant compared to a regular bobbin, which is really useful on these freestanding lace embroidery designs because they use tons of thread. These freestanding lace embroidery designs have very dense stitching, and consequently they take quite a while to stitch out, so I found it's really nice to have a side project that I can do nearby while my machine is running. My current side project is I'm learning to use a sock loom to knit my own socks. I learned very quickly that when you're doing large embroidery designs, you don't want to get far from your machine because as soon as you do, that's when your thread will break or it'll get jammed up or something like that. This is a brand new craft for me, and I'm finding that it's very tedious to make your own socks. So chances are I'll have all my ornaments finished by the time it takes me to finish a single sock. Running my embroidery machine at full speed kind of scares me, especially on these large designs, so I usually run it at 50 or 75% speed, which does make the design take longer to stitch out. Since I'm making several of these ornaments for gifts, I'm doing them production style where I'm going to embroider out a whole bunch of different designs and then I'll finish the assembly all at once. Something I just realized that I didn't anticipate. So this embroidery design actually only covers half the ornament. So for each ornament I want to make, I need to make 2 embroidery designs to wrap the whole thing, which means it's going to take twice as long to make all these ornaments. I just got my first ornament completely stitched out, and it looks like even with my giant bobbins, this is almost depleted, so I'll be rewinding a new bobbin for every ornament. I've been told that running your metallic thread higher through a thread stand works better, so I've got this propped up on a box here to give it a little bit of height. I have no idea why this is supposed to help this stitch out better, so if you know, let me know in the comments below. I switched out my needle to one of these Smets metallic needles, which is supposed to make a difference. The metallic thread is kind of wiry, so it wouldn't surprise me that it's more difficult than regular embroidery thread. And I have never actually used this before, so it's going to be really interesting to see how this goes. I'm going to keep my machine speed set at only about 50% just because I'm being a little cautious. So let's see how it goes. Okay, first issue, it was all going great, but now my machine came unthreaded, so let's go ahead and get this started again. I hope this doesn't happen a lot because this is going to be super annoying. My machine has come unthreaded with this metallic thread like 3 or 4 times now, which is getting kind of annoying. It's like it's stripping the thread as it runs through all the tensioners, so I lowered the thread tension just slightly to see if that makes a difference. Alright guys, this metallic embroidery thread is no joke. It's super frustrating. I've had my machine stop about a dozen times now, so I got on ChatGPT and did some troubleshooting. And what I ended up doing was taking out my high tension bobbin case, which you usually use for embroidery on my machine. I put the regular one in. I also did this kind of strange threading where it's vertical over here and then it runs through the thread stand and then comes into the machine. And I guess that's helping it feed off the spool a little bit better. I also turned my speed down to about 1/3 of the top speed, and we've been going strong for a while now without any issues, but this is definitely going to take a long time at this speed, but now it seems like we've got the issues straightened out. I also forgot to mention I did turn the top thread tension down a little bit. So I guess the name of the game is loose tension, slow and steady speed. Alright guys, 10 out of 10, I don't recommend the metallic thread. This is all the farther I've got. It keeps jamming up and it's just kind of frustrating at this point. So respect to all of you who are really good at embroidering with metallic thread. I kind of like my crafting to be more relaxing. So I'm going to call it a night, and when I come back tomorrow, I'm going to go back to using regular embroidery thread. The instructions from Embroidery Library have you hand sew, but I discovered that I can use a tiny zigzag stitch on my machine to assemble them instead. And if I had a little more foresight, I would have done that right after I embroidered each one, so I already had the machine threaded with the correct color. But here we are, so I'm just going to leave my bobbin thread white. Got a dish basin of some warm water here. So we're going to take these assembled ornaments that have the stabilizer and swish them around in there, and that stabilizer will dissolve. And it does make a difference if you use warm versus cold water, I've discovered when I've done freestanding lace before. And this is what we've got left. Now, the instructions from Embroidery Library do say to mold these over your ornament wet because they're more malleable. So that's what we're going to do. I've got a large needle here with a big eye to use for threading my ribbon. And I don't think it looks like I'm even going to need the glue gun because I'm just going to assemble these with ribbon, which is going to be way prettier. I'm definitely spending a lot of time fussing with this ribbon, but it's so worth it because these are really pretty ornaments. These are going to make such great gifts. Now, these ornaments I bought are plastic, so I can be a little bit heavy-handed with them and not worry about them breaking. But if you were using glass ornaments, you would definitely need to be a lot more careful than I am. Change of plans on the hot glue gun. I didn't end up using it to assemble the embroidery, but I did use it to secure the knots of all my bows. The more of these Christmas ornaments I finish, they turn out better and better, and I'll definitely be making more of these to give as gifts this year. Alright friends, that's where I'm going to wrap things up for this video today. A few quick takeaways from this project. 1. There is so much you can do with embroidery beyond just embroidering on fabric. Freestanding lace is just one example of that. 2. Embroidered projects make really meaningful gifts. 3. It's always nice to have a secondary craft, like knitting a sock for me or something else, while the embroidery machine does its thing. And finally, metallic thread, beautiful, but definitely not for the faint of heart. If you enjoyed this Sew With Me video today, I hope you'll like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments below what you'd like to see me make in a future video. I'm thinking I'd like to make myself some new pants, but I'm open to suggestions. So, in the meantime, happy sewing, and I'll see you in the next video.